Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. Today, I was thinking about something that happened a couple years ago that I've never talked about on the channel before, that I feel like I have some distance from, and I want to talk about it. And part of it is just sort of as a hobby PSA, and part of it is just sort of to get this thing off my chest. And and just to give you the headline. Right around now, 2 years ago, I got scammed. I got scammed. It happened. I got scammed out of about $1,300 in my effort to complete my 59 top set. And part of why I was thinking about it was because 2 years ago, right before Shriners, the card show in the Boston area, the big regional card show that is happening this coming weekend, um, right before Shriners 2 years ago was when I finished my 59 set. And it was such an amazing feeling to be done with the set. And it was just this wonderful hobby experience. But the thing is that experience was not without some ups and downs. And the biggest down was that a few weeks before I finished the set, um, I got scammed. And so I want to tell that story for a few different reasons. Like I said, I'm hoping that talking about this type of thing um, helps people sort of either kind of become more aware of the realities that can happen, of what can happen. I wanted to talk about how it's not, you know, if you fall victim to a scam, it doesn't say anything about you other than that maybe you weren't aware. And that it's, this is my second Goodwill Hunting reference in the last couple of weeks on the channel. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You're a victim. And so I wanted to talk about it because I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. But you just have to know things. You have to be aware of certain things. So I want to talk about it, because this time of year it reminded me of what happened a couple of years ago. So I got really heavily back into collecting about 2 years ago. We started this channel in June of 2023, mostly as a vehicle of just opening old wax packs, right? So 2 years ago, I got heavily back into collecting, and that summer, I decided that I wanted to try to build the 59 top set. Well, I didn't have any cards from the set, and I didn't really know anything about set building, and I didn't know a lot about buying cards outside of buying the wax packs that I was buying on eBay and going to a few card shows here and there up until that summer, and then into that fall. I was getting, by that fall I was getting pretty close to being done with the set, and I did it in sort of the way that now I would not do it, which is that I had gotten most of the commons. I had bought a huge lot of commons, and then I was working on getting the bigger cards. And at the end of the day, my recommendation to anybody that's doing set building is to get the big cards first and then get the commons later. Because if you change your mind, you decide you don't want to build the set, you can at least it's a lot easier to sell off the bigger cards than it would be to sell off the commons. So what I did was I put it out there on Twitter, and the scams happened all on Twitter. And I put it out there that I was looking for some specific cards. There's some threads around like in search of, like ISO kind of threads, and I had some people respond to my want lists saying that they had certain bigger cards from the set for sale, and I missed so many red flags. I missed so many things that today I don't think I would possibly miss. But at the moment, I was so excited to finish the set, to build the set, that I just completely missed a bunch of red flags. These kind of all happened roughly right around the same time. I said it was $1,300. I think it was 4 cards that I agreed to buy from different people. I think maybe one of them, it was 2 from the same person. And I wish I could remember exactly which cards they were. I do remember one specifically was the mantle, was the 59 tops mantle number 10. Um, and somebody was looking to sell it, and the number was, I should have realized that it was too good to be true. They were way below comps, and I agreed to buy it. There was another person who claimed that they had 2 other cards. I want to say one of them was the Brooks Robinson, And like I said, I don't really remember what the other ones were. I think Alkaline might have been in there too, possibly the Harmon Killebrew. So I it was, like I said, it was three separate transactions. I strongly suspect that it was the same person pulling the scam on me on all three of the different transactions, and it was from different people. It was all going to different sources. There was PayPal, there was Zelle, like all this the different. It might have even been Venmo, and but because of the timing of it and the way that the scams worked, I do strongly suspect that it was the same person that did this. And what this person did was they were impersonating legitimate dealers on Twitter, people that sell, and they stole their avatars, and they did this thing where they were impersonating them. They took the username of the person, and so, like, let's say, for example, they were using the name O'Donnell, which wasn't the case, but let's just say they were using the O'Donnell. Um, like the first O would be like a zero, or one of the L's would be a one. And so if you don't look at it super closely, you're not going to notice that it's not that person. So that's what happened. It was multiple people that were legitimate, they were impersonating legitimate Twitter sellers. And I sent them the money. They sent me pictures of the cards. They were not coined, and by that term, if people don't know what that means, um, usually this is a big thing in Facebook groups, especially where people are required, if they post a picture of a card for sale, that they have to write their name and that day's date on a piece of paper or something, and have that in the picture with the card. That is supposed to protect you. It's not 100% foolproof, but it is, pretty. It shows that you're at least attempting to be legitimate. There's other ways that it can possibly be not legitimate, but they were just sending me pictures of the cards randomly. And I didn't do any kind of research. I didn't look up the cert numbers. I didn't do like Google reverse image search or anything like that. I was just like, yes, I want the card. I'm so excited to finish the set. And I sent them the money, not using goods and services, not using any sort of protection. And I'm trying to remember how it was that I realized that I had gotten scammed. Obviously, I never got tracking numbers for anything. I think what happened was is I came to the realization that the people I was talking to were not legitimately the sellers that I was trying to buy the cards from. And so I tried to ask the people for the money back, and they had switched up. They had changed to their profiles to somebody else, or they just deactivated their accounts. And I tried to go through PayPal. I tried to go through my bank, and I couldn't get my money back. So in total, I was out about $1,300, and it was embarrassing. I have to admit, it was really embarrassing, especially as I don't talk about this a lot, but I work in the cybersecurity field. I have for the last 10 years, and so many of the telltale signs of spoofing attacks, impersonation attacks, is what happened in this. Specifically, people, a lot of cyber criminals try to, they will create these fake email addresses and try to. I've known about this for 10 years. They try to dupe people into sending, wiring money to them because they pretend to be an executive from their company, and they get away with it. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I like I said, I missed all of these signs. Um, the hardest part about all of it was having to tell Abby that I had lost $1,300 of our money. And it was really hard. It was hard to tell her that, but she was not upset at me because she's a great wife and I'm very lucky. She was upset at the person who perpetrated this against me, the people. It might have been a ring, possibly. Um, but she was so supportive of me as I tried to work through it. And like I said, I didn't get my money back. I tried, but and I was down. I was really down about it, and I really thought to myself that I was gonna, before I had even really gotten back into the hobby, I thought I was just gonna give up. I'm like, if this is how things are, if this is how people are gonna act and behave, and they're gonna try to scam people out of, like, the hobby is supposed to be about enjoying cards and 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 like having what you love from a collecting standpoint, and just the joy of having the cards and the joy of trading and selling and collecting and all that kind of stuff. The fact that there's so many people out there that want to scam you for a buck, um, for the trading card hobby, it really bothered me. And like I said, I seriously thought to myself, I'm not gonna engage with this. I didn't want to engage in it, and I would have probably given up right then and there. The channel already existed at that point, and I was ready to kind of just walk away from all of it. But I just decided, you know what? No, I can't. I'm not gonna let people like that, the people that would steal your money, um, get me down. So I stuck with it, and I finished my set, and here we are. So I know people that have gotten scammed out of a lot less money, and people that have gotten scammed out of a lot more money than $1,300. It's not an insignificant amount of money. But I'm just telling the story because I just I want people to know that, like, you know if it's happened to you, you're not alone necessarily. And there are some things that you can do to protect yourselves. Not, it's not 100% foolproof, but just my advice to folks. And by the way, I want to say I did, just because, videos like this, I like to show cards no matter what. In any video I do, I did pull out my graded 59. So we're going to look at those after. And I'm excited to show those again, because I can never get enough of looking at my 59 set, which I'm so proud of. Um, just some things to throw out there. And just, this is not just for the sort of seasoned collectors, it's also for anybody that maybe is coming across this, that is thinking about buying cards for a family member or a friend or something like that. That it's not always a guarantee that everybody is going to know this. Like, if you're buying not through sort of like a secured platform, whether it's eBay or an auction house or in person or something like that, a lot of it is through social media, um, or like Craigslist, or uh, you know Facebook Marketplace, Twitter, Instagram, uh, Blue Sky. Do people sell cards on Blue Sky? I don't know. Make sure that you pay for stuff through goods and services. You either uh, mostly PayPal. I believe Venmo does let you do that. If you buy stuff through Zelle, you're kind of, I don't think you have a lot of recourse. And if somebody demands that you buy a card from them through something that's not a goods and services, that's a huge red flag, and you should just walk away. Um, if it's Unless it's somebody that you have worked with before, or you've done business with before, um, just don't. It's not worth it. Make sure you protect yourself. Make sure that the person that you're talking to, that you're buying the cards from, is who you think they are. If Whether it's making sure that they are a legitimate seller. I know this is an issue on Twitter now because of the fact that anybody can get the blue check mark. Um, but make sure that the person that you're talking to is the person you're intending to buy the cards from. This has become a big problem on Facebook because people can clone accounts, and they make fake accounts of actual people. That's really scary, and it's part of why I haven't really bought on Facebook that much recently. Again, I maybe would only buy from people that if I have some sort of message history with them and I know that it's them. Um, Make sure you ask for a coined picture of the card that you want to buy. Again, unless it's somebody that you know really well. Um, if you really want the card and they are insisting on doing friends and family, again, I would walk away, but make sure you get vouchers. Ask around, ask people, hey, is this person good? But I think that's a huge red flag if they aren't willing to take goods and services. And then, confirm your tracking number, make sure it works. I know that there's ways that can be kind of messed around with, but just stick to your gut. And if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. That's the other thing, and that's the thing that I didn't really pay attention to. So before I show the cards, I wanted to share one kind of other funny postscript to this, which was that a couple of months after this happened, I had bought this. I wouldn't even really call this a scam necessarily. Just this guy was just not. I think he might have had some problems. A guy had posted a vintage lot of cards in a Facebook group for, it was $120, and there was 11 cards in the lot, and they were all 50s, 60s, and 70s cards, like mostly Hall of Famers, cards in good condition. I thought that I would maybe grab them, they were all raw. I'd try to grab them, maybe to flip and resell. So I asked the guy if he would take $100 for the lot. He said yes. I paid him through Venmo, not goods and services. Again, it wasn't a lot of money, and this was after I got scammed. I should have realized like the bigger scam. I should have done this, but it wasn't a lot of money, so I just figured I would send him the money, goods and service, or the money, friends and family, or just through Venmo, just friends and family. And it took him a while to ship the cards, and I was a little bit concerned. Finally, I got a hold of him. He was like, "Yeah, sorry, let me get these out. Like I've just been busy with work, whatever." So he sends me the cards, and I'm going to put up a picture of what he actually sent. Of the 11 cards that he was supposed to send me, he sent me 8 of the cards that he had for sale. There was 3 that he did not send, and in their place, he sent me 4 rookie card reprints, like fake rookie cards of Reggie Jackson, Terry Bradshaw, Dan Marino, and John Elway. And I opened it and I'm like, what is this? And I reached out to the guy and I'm like, hey, you didn't send me the right stuff. And in fact, you sent me a bunch of fake cards. And he's like, oh, I got to check my cards. Like, I'll get back to you, whatever. Ghosted me. Never heard from him again after that. I sent him multiple messages through Facebook Messenger. I was like, listen, and I figured out, it was like, either you can send me the 3 cards you're supposed to send me, or you can refund me $27 because I figured, I think it was 100 divided by 11 came out to about $9, and there was 3 cards he didn't send me. So I sent him a Venmo request for a $27 refund, like never sent it. So I actually reported him in one of the Facebook scammer groups, and he was never heard from again, weirdly. So that was more just like, that's a tough one because the guy coined the cards. He even sent me a video of the cards, that kind of thing. And he did send me 8 of the 11 cards he was supposed to send me, but 4 of them were fakes. He sent me 4 other cards that were fakes, and wouldn't refund me my money for the stuff he didn't send. So you just never know. You can never be too careful out there. But anyway, again, I hope that sharing this story helps people, avoid what happened to me, and the hobby is to be enjoyed. And so, like I said, this time of year, I was thinking about it. So thank you for listening to me talk about this. Let me show some cards. Let me show my 6 graded 59 Topps cards. And I'll start with the actual mantle that I got. I actually bought this raw on Twitter, and this is one of my first SGC orders, and I just love this example of this card. Very clean, a little OC, but just beautiful, beautiful mantle. One of the best cards in the set. This was a really pretty maze that I bought this from Fish. Folks know who Fish is on Twitter, and he also does sell on Facebook a bit too. I bought this raw, and I think I may have sent it in the same order as the mantle. It's a beautiful card. I have my Banks as in a 5. I got this also from a seller on Twitter. It was graded when I got it. Very pretty card. Banks was the 58 and 59 National League MVP. My Gibson rookie. I got this in a trade with Paul Borges, BB Collectibles in Port Rhode Island. I really look forward to seeing Paul this weekend at the Shriners. Just an awesome card. Willie Mays All-Star. This was one I bought from Twitter as well. And then my 59 Mantle All-Star. I believe this is the one that I bought from another seller on Twitter, a guy named Tom, a really nice guy in South Carolina, who was selling cards and has continued to sell cards on Twitter out of his childhood collection. So this card has only had 2 owners, me and him. And I got this raw from him, and I got it graded. So really nice one. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to share that little story in the hopes that maybe it could be of some service to somebody. And again, if you get scammed, it's not your fault. This stuff happens in life, but you have to be educated. You got to know. So thanks so much for watching. Try to have some more content later this week ahead of Shriners. So excited. Cannot wait. Check out where to follow us on social media channels. Check out our ComC store, and check out our list of favorite nonprofits and charities. It would mean a lot to me personally, and Abby as well, if you could support one of them. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Wax Back Wisdom. Take care.